Hey everyone, I am the Chosen One Legend here, as always joined by my co-host.
Hi, I'm Kai, also known as Fascarine.
And welcome back to the BunchaJokahs podcast, where we talk all Nintendo news of the past month. And now we're in 2022, which is crazy. Well, technically we're recording this in 2021, but you'll be watching it in 2022, so Happy New Year everyone. Man.
I mean, some people may be watching it in 2023, we don't know yet.
That's
They
a
might
good
wait
point
for a
actually.
while.
So the Happy New Year could be for any year, you never know.
It could be.
But you know what, forget the new year because we're ignoring that for now. We're talking about December 2021. We're looking back at the, it's sort of been a small month, as you might expect, with not so much happening over the holidays announcement-wise. But we've got some big things such as the Game Awards and even a few other small announcements. So we should have a good show ahead of you. I'll ask you again, how was your Christmas, Kai?
It was good, pretty chill, you know, not much going on. But ready to get into seeing what that actually just happened, because honestly I can't remember a lot of it.
Yeah, I had to just go by and look at various other gaming channels like Game Explain and see what they posted, because otherwise I wouldn't have a clue, to be honest with you. But I managed to find some stories from the scraps, and if you want to hop about, there will be timestamps in the description below, so feel free to do that. But let's just get things kicking with our first segment of the podcast. Can't have a podcast without news, baby, where we go over those news highlights. And to start things off, there's sort of two that I've merged into one here. We've been getting some updates on the Nintendo 64 Online and the release schedule for those, with Paper Mario releasing just this month, or December, and Banjo-Kazooie coming out earlier than I expected in January. So what do you think of these, Kai? Are you going to try these out, or have you already?
I don't know, I think I might try them out, but I've not got any like concrete plans yet with the N64 stuff. I've not fully decided on it yet. What about you?
I did try it. I did start playing Paper Mario on Nintendo 64 Online.
Okay.
And it easily, you know, this is easily one of the biggest sellers for the system, I think, in the sense of that a lot of the other games before, it's like Mario Kart, which is just multiplayer fun. You've got Mario 64, which everyone's owned 100 times already. But this is playing it, you know, this is a proper, well-made RPG on the Switch that I'm getting for £7 for a year, you know, and when you think about it that way, it really is a lot of fun, and I'm glad it sort of shows immediately to me the value of Nintendo 64 Online over SNES Online, which I love, but the games on Nintendo 64 just have that increased longevity, and the slight generational gap gives them a lot more to work with, I think, and that really shows. So, good start. I will admit, I didn't get too far because Christmas happened and now I've got brand new shiny PS5 games to play. So, I've still got a ways to go in it, but it's fun, and I'm looking forward to finally trying out Banjo-Kazooie this month, because all I've played is the Game Boy Advanced game, which nobody really remembers. And it wasn't bad, but you know, it's not the full 3D experience, so I'm glad I can finally try this out. Like I said though, too many games, so hopefully I fill it in. But
yeah,
it's good to see that.
Sure, it'll be good.
Yeah, and it's good to see they're at least starting with a regular release schedule. I'm sure that will change because they tend to be quite spotty with these things. But not a bad start. But to move on to some news you might have some more to say about, Kai. We are continuing to get updates on Legends Arceus. And particularly we got, over December, Hisuian Voltorb announced, plus a trailer revealing that there are two clans in the game, the quite aptly named Diamond and Pearl clan. So, what do you think of these announcements then, Kai?
I wonder where they got those names from. Okay, so
it's a mystery.
With Hisuian Voltorb. I mean, it makes sense. I don't know how we didn't think of that, to be honest. I'm sort of
it's kind of obvious, yeah.
For not thinking it up, but of course, they put emphasis in a previous trailer on there being like different types of Pokeballs. Why the hell wouldn't they make a Hisuian version of the Pokeball Pokemon? Like, it makes so much sense.
It's it's like the most obvious idea that no one seemed to think of, but when you hear it, you're like, oh, of course.
I'm sure someone out there must have predicted it right. Like, I don't know who,
You'd
but
think.
Someone must have done as soon as that first reveal of the Pokeball happened. But yeah, I think it's neat. It's an interesting design, like the way that The eyebrows have looked. It's quite hard to explain, but the design of it is very different to how I might have expected it to be.
Yeah.
But I'm also not complaining. I think it looks very abstract, but you always need those abstract design Pokemon to make all the others look regular. So
I don't know much about the
the
technicalities of Pokemon, but it's grass electric type, isn't it? So how does that stand up?
I can't remember, to be honest, because I've not looked too much into it. But I'm guessing maybe it's like something to do with how they're made or something like that. The Pokeballs.
Yeah.
But I'm completely guessing. I can't remember.
Looks interesting
I'm
either way.
Search it now really quick.
Go for it, yeah. I do like the design of it. It's got that great sense of that the Hisuian forms have, that familiar but different, and it's kind of off-putting in the way, but it's also very interesting.
Yeah, it is. I can't see any reasoning on why it's a grass type online anywhere, unless
The Pokeball design looks kind of wooden. I don't know if it's anything to do with
I was thinking
that side of things. Yeah.
So why is it a grass type?
Lore.
Lore.
Welcome to your Pokemon lore streams.
Here we go. It does say Pokeballs of that era were made of wood. That'd explain it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Makes sense.
But yeah, no. On top of that, the Diamond and Pearl gangs. I think it's interesting. I wonder how that's gonna fit, considering that there isn't two versions of Legends Arceus. It is just one game. So I wonder maybe it's like within the game you pick a faction.
Kind of like Pokemon Go kind of thing, how you have the 3 factions or something maybe.
So I think that maybe there might be something to do with that, although I'm not sure exactly what yet. As for their designs, I forget the name of them, but I think the Diamond guy has like an amazing design. I think it just looks really cool. Like
Pokemon designs, even in Sword and Shield, they're often pretty good, aren't they? Sword and Shield had a lot of great character designs.
They had like new graphic designers, I believe. I think it was for
Oh,
Sword and Shield. That was like the new team they brought in, and I'm a really big fan of the character designs they made. So
Sorbet, I mean, of course, or whatever it's
I
called.
don't know if they made
which one it is.
To be honest, that was Swordwood and Shieldbert.
That's it. That's it.
I don't know if they made those ones as well, admittedly, but the ones that I am aware of, they've done a damn pretty good job on. So I like the Diamond guy. I think he's got a pretty goated design.
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty cool. I'm interested to see fully how they implement it, because there's a couple different ways they could go about it.
Yeah, that's definitely a game we'll have to keep an eye on. We'll probably be getting more updates as it's... Is it coming out the end of January? I think it is, so...
Something like that, yeah. End of January, beginning of February.
Scarily close.
Yeah.
But, to go back to December and the start of December, we of course had the Game Awards 2021.
Mm-hmm.
And there were a few... Of course, there are the many awards and a few announcements. We're not going to talk through them all because, 1, there's so many, 2, we don't really care. But... Yeah. We will mention that we were both correct in our prediction that It Takes Two was the winner of Game of the Year. And, seemingly quite well deserved, as we both sort of predicted. So, yeah, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, it's a very good game. Yeah, I absolutely thought it was deserved. So, I think any of them could have won and people would have been like, oh, okay. But I think It Takes Two in particular, people were like, yeah, this makes complete sense.
Yeah, I mean, really, I think The Last of Us 2 deserved it, but otherwise, this was the next best.
They should have,
yeah.
They should have. They just chose to do the honourable thing and give it to someone else. So,
very nice of them. Good old
Although
Jeff.
It is also funny. What was it? The guy who went up for the award for It Takes Two. He's funny because he's got a history with the Game Awards. So it was quite funny to watch him go up there and celebrate.
Yeah, and I always enjoy hearing the orchestra do their melody. Mm-hmm. Of course, getting some Metroid Dread music in there was great, and Metroid Dread won best. I think it was Action Adventure. So still some good stuff happening there. But of course, there are also some announcements. Not that many. Of course, we don't have any Smash this year, but probably the biggest was from Sonic, where first of all we got the trailer for Sonic 2, the movie. Did you watch this trailer, Kai?
Yes, I did.
Knuckles
So
sounds
good.
pretty good, honestly.
I'm kind of vibing with it. I mean, I was
Yeah.
anyway, but I'm vibing with it. It's good.
Idris Elba, like, I like him as an actor, but when it was announced him as Knuckles, I thought, that's kind of an interesting pick. It's not quite so obvious as, like, Sonic's voice actor, who immediately you can tell fits.
Yeah.
But hearing it and in seeing him in action, it blends perfectly. So I'm fully on board for this movie. I think
I
I've I've probably talked about it a bit before. How I thought the first Sonic movie was good, but it was a bit held back. I didn't enjoy it quite as much as everyone else because I thought it felt a bit like your very sort of generic CGI character comes to the real world, has to become friends with human and learn friendship. You know, it's
Yeah, you could have put any sort of fictional
yeah.
character in there that can go fast, and it would.
It's the Alvin and the Chipmunks formula, you know.
Literally, it
Yeah.
literally is the Alvin and the Chipmunks formula. But the second film seems to be, sort of expanding out into more Sonic-specific stuff. You know, Tails and Knuckles being there. Maybe some
Jim
more stuff
Carrey
to do
looks
with Green
great.
Hill Zone. Jim Carrey's always
Yeah.
just a legend. Yeah, so
So
it seems to be that they're picking up a bit.
Yeah, I still enjoyed the first one, and this looks like it's dialing things up. So hopefully we can maybe arrange a meet-up to see it like we did the last one. But that would be cool.
Do we have a release date for it?
I think it's April 2022. I don't
okay.
remember the exact release date, but it's April anyway, which is around my birthday. So there we go. You guys can pay for
Pretty
me.
good.
That's
lovely.
sold now. But that wasn't the only Sonic thing, because we got the trailer for the next mainline Sonic game, Sonic Frontiers, which everything's just going Breath of the Wild now, isn't it? That's just a trend.
It
But-
is everything is Breath of the Wild.
Yep, it's happening. Interesting. They didn't really show too much gameplay, or really any gameplay. But, well, I don't know, what do you think, Kai? Because I'm cautiously optimistic, I suppose,
Yeah.
would be the way to put it.
Yeah, in concept, I'm thinking this could be really cool. You know, the overworld looks pretty cool. It'll be interesting to see like what it's like when you can go around it really fast.
Yeah.
You know how the Sonic element is going to fit into it too. Like I'm very curious to see how they do it, and if they do it right, then I think it's going to be really cool. However, this is the kind of thing, especially with open world plus Sonic development. It's got like a 90% chance of failing. I'm gonna be honest. I think it's got like an extremely high chance of just flopping completely and being a gameplay disaster again.
It's
But
possible.
we don't know that for sure yet. But following past trends and that sort of thing, like other teams trying Breath of the Wild style games and Sonic development teams not doing a very good job with making games, it just...
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of reason to hesitate, but if they do it right, then it'll be really good. So I'm not, sort of dismissing it.
Definitely.
immediately.
I think, open world sort of Sonic could go really well. I mean, to sort of throw something I'm playing at the moment, I got Spider-Man on the PlayStation Spider-Man game for Christmas, and I won't be talking about that until next month properly, but that game has a really great feeling of just momentum swinging through New York, and how you keep moving no matter what. You run into a wall, Spider-Man just runs up it, And if they can get that feeling with Sonic, of just speeding through its open world, and you just keep going no matter what's in front of you by vaulting over things and that, it could be really fun. Like you say though, it's just, will they manage that? It's the question, but
Yeah.
that'll be one to keep an eye on. That'll be interesting to see how that goes next year. Either way, I just hope that it's either really good or really bad. I don't want it to be in the middle, because it can at least be funny. Come on, man.
That's a good point. That is a good point. So I'm curious to see how it will go and see what they do with it.
But we'll definitely keep you posted anytime there's some more news on that one.
Yeah.
But there wasn't much more in the Game Awards, at least that we'll really have much to say about. I do want to quickly mention they announced Star Wars Eclipse, which is a new Star Wars game. I think it's developed by the creators of what's it called? Game with Robots. Detroit Become Human. I think it's that development team. There we go.
Thinking what?
It took me a little bit, and I got there eventually. But yeah, and it's set in the High Republic era, which is this sort of new era of Star Wars set 100 years before the prequel trilogy. This is going to mean nothing to you, Kai, but it's just, this is the first non-EA Star Wars game we're getting news on, I believe. So it's interesting that we're seeing what's going to be sort of the new generation of Star Wars games beyond what we've already got. And whilst they didn't show off any gameplay, just the whole concept of being set in like a sort of older Republic style and seeing the new era of the Star Wars galaxy fleshed out on screen, because we've only really had books for this era so far. I'm definitely excited, and I want to see more. I'm cautiously optimistic as always, because you never know how these things are going to go. We all remember how Star Wars Battlefront 2 was at launch, but they turned it around, so you know, and Jedi Fallen Order, which I also got for Christmas, is a fantastic game. So I'm optimistic for the next era of Star Wars games. Fingers crossed. you know what Star Wars is, don't you, Kai? Lightsabers.
Isn't that the one with the Klingons and?
Yes.
Right.
No,
cool.
no. Sorry, you're thinking of Battlestar Galactica, but close. Yeah.
Ah, I see.
Very close.
Okay. I guess one more thing to mention from the Game Awards is their questionable briefing on certain events. Man, I do enjoy myself a little bit of Genshin Impact, as they call
Oh God, yeah.
There was a couple things like that again, like they do every year. But oh my God, that did take the cake for me. I've got to say.
That is pretty entertaining. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like it's so dumb how it has these things, but at the same point, I would miss them if they weren't there.
Yeah, they're great.
And speaking of things that are kind of dumb but also seem potentially entertaining, I do want to quickly mention Among Us VR. Did you see this, Kai?
Oh yeah. Oh, I forgot that happened.
Yeah.
Of course.
I mean, I have no way to play this whenever it happens.
Yeah, me neither.
I'm trying to think, like, how would this work?
I would imagine just like the regular Among Us works.
I suppose
Except
so, but
rather than a top-down view, it's like a different kind of viewpoint.
It completely changes like things like how you how you see everyone, for example, because usually you can see everyone within a certain radius on your screen, but in VR you're only looking ahead of you. You lose your 360 directional movement. So definitely things need to be rebalanced, but that would be. I'm not gonna, it would also make the game really bloody scary. So.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of fun, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I know people have like made their own versions of it in the past, so the fact that there's now an official version, interesting. I mean, one thing that could be the case actually is that a lot of VR games don't actually require you to have a VR set. You can just play it on your PC normally. So if they
VR
do
like that, yeah.
Yeah, so let's say like, maybe there is like an inbuilt option for that. Then who knows? Maybe it'll be a bit of fun, because I'd be down.
Yeah, I would definitely, only if I'm playing in a well-lit room, but otherwise, no.
Oh, it sounds fun.
But yeah, that would be interesting, and I wonder if it will have, like, proximity voice chat or something as well.
Yeah, there's all the talk about that.
Yeah, I don't know, is that enabled at all in the main game of Among Us? Because I've heard talk about it. Or is it just mods?
I believe it's a mod. It's like the most popular mod in the game by far. I don't believe.
I'm surprised they haven't made that official yet.
Yeah, I don't think they have, and I could be wrong, but they might be planning on implementing their own version. Because they're planning on making their own version of like prop hunt and stuff in the game. So they've clearly got these modded type plans in the work, but. I'm sure they'll bring proximity into it at some point, yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it goes, even if I can't play it. I think watching other people play it will be the most entertaining part as well, so that's one to look forward to. But that is pretty much it for Game Awards. There's nothing else you wanted to mention from it, is there, Kai?
I don't think so, no.
And I will quickly mention, did you want to talk about Nintendo's Indie World? Because I actually don't really have anything to say about any of the games in it, but is there anything that caught your eye?
I can't remember. I feel like there was, and I can't remember.
You have. I looked through the stuff before here, and it's not even like one of those. I thought this was a bad direct. There was just sort of one of those
where
nothing
like particularly interesting going on.
Yeah, there's nothing that attracts to, I guess, my gaming tastes, and also there was nothing huge like Cuphead that we have to talk about regardless. I mean, there was actually Cuphead DLC announced at the Game Awards, but we haven't played that, so.
Yeah, I'm just checking through it. There was one called what was it? Extinction is Forever, where you play as like a fox, and I thought, hey, that's pretty neat. But I think that's
Yeah.
like the most reaction I got out of the whole thing. You know, none of it was exactly
neat.
revolutionary for me.
Yeah.
So, I'm just checking through it now. There was nothing overly notable. Admittedly, there's a Mori that they announced at the very end, which has been
Yes.
very popular the last couple months.
Yeah, I don't really know much about that game. I think I've heard that it's best to go into it not knowing much from the
Yeah,
little
I
talk I've heard
believe
about
it's
it.
like sort of one of those quirky RPG games. You know, it's like Undertale, but like very depressing, is what I've heard. Like it's a game
Yay!
it's a game about depression or something like that. So
Yeah.
you know, with its quirky elements as well. So you can probably imagine the type of stuff it has in it.
Yeah.
So it's interesting
Still-
that they brought that to Switch already. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's good to see there's still lots of indie support on the Switch because
Absolutely. Yeah.
they're great games there. You know, I just discovered a Short Hike last year. I know our friend B More Duck has been playing a few on stream, like Toem, which looked really fun. So yeah, there's a lot on the backlog, as there ever is.
And there always is.
Always, it keeps growing. I bought Horizon Zero Dawn because it was on sale for like £6. I don't have time to play it. I've still got the entire Kingdom Hearts series to get through, but you know,
Oh,
I have it now.
Yeah, I'm feeling
But-
you in the backlog. It's a thing.
That's probably a good point to transition to the games that we have been playing, the few we've managed to squeeze in this time. So let's move over to our next segment of the podcast, Games Time Baby, where we talk about whatever games we've been playing in December. And, you know, I'll start things off here. I did mention Kingdom Hearts, so let's go with that. I picked up the Kingdom Hearts collection, which is basically every game, some of them compiled into like little short clips and stuff, but in one package for £22, which
It's pretty good.
can't complain about.
Yeah.
And I started with the first game, or technically it's Kingdom Hearts 1 Remix, something. I don't know the names, they get complicated.
It's Kingdom Hearts, yeah, they get confused.
It's the first game in the series, but it's HD or whatever. And, you know, I enjoyed it. There's definitely some mixed feelings on it, so I'll get into it. But on the surface level, it is just bonkers and it's fun. You know, it's the moment that you just sit there seeing Goofy and Donald having a serious chat with Aerith, and I'm just like, what the heck is happening? But it's funny, and it's kind of in a crazy, it's enjoyable in a really bizarre manner, and I loved it. I love that part of it, and just how, if you pardon the pun, how goofy it is seeing this mix of characters and casts and everything. And I grew up on Disney films. You know, I wasn't familiar with all of the ones saw here. Like I never watched Tarzan or Little Mermaid, but I know Aladdin, I know Hercules. You know, Fantasia's referenced in there, which I used to love as a kid. It's just seeing all these different films and projects come together. It's really charming. It's definitely, I think that's the best aspect of the series from the first game I played so far. It's just pure unfiltered charm, and it's great for that. The gameplay is a little more mixed, let's say, and I wondered if that would be an unpopular opinion. But even talking to like our friend James, he was like, "Yeah, the gameplay doesn't really get any better." And I know he loves the Kingdom Hearts series, so you know, it's not bad. The best way I can put it is, you know, this is a remaster of a PS2 game, and it feels exactly like a PS2 game. I never played Kingdom Hearts growing up, but I did play a lot of movie tie-ins. You know, there were some good ones, like the SpongeBob ones. There were some bad ones I played, like Chicken Little. But either way, they have this certain feel to them of the era, this inherent clankiness to them, or clunkiness. And that is Kingdom Hearts 1 in a nutshell. It feels exactly like a licensed title from that era. And whilst it has some more charm and ambition than those titles, you know, it's got the RPG elements mixed in. I'm just kind of surprised that this series has got so acclaimed as it is, when literally it feels almost like I'm just playing the PS2 game of Aladdin or whatever, you know. It's that sort of... It feels almost cheap, even for the PS2 era.
Didn't win on the gameplay then.
Yeah, and it's not bad even. Like when I was just playing through the main story, and you sort of get into the rhythm of it, of like moving around with Sora, Goofy and Donald are completely useless. They just don't do anything. So I
Oh,
don't
I've
even know
heard
why they're
that,
there.
actually,
Yeah, they are completely pointless. I mean, they revive themselves after a little while, so I just let them die and revive. There's no point using items on them. I'm sure some pro players can tell me that there's a way that you can use it to make them better. It probably is. And I'm willing to admit that part of it was probably just me playing badly. But it was just alright when you get into a rhythm of it, and it served enough to like go through these charming worlds and see the quirky characters. But when it got more difficult, and when you get to things like big boss fights you're fighting, where you have zero control of what's happening, you can't tell where the hitboxes are, it's a bit of a mess at times, and I will admit to some minor raging towards the end. It did happen a few times. But and overall I still enjoyed the gameplay enough, and I'm still looking forward to trying out the rest of the series. It's just one of those things where I'm kind of surprised it's quite as acclaimed as it is, and why it seems like this huge, amazing series rather than just like a bit of a cult classic, I suppose. I mean, even like the story was fine enough. It doesn't get too complicated in one. I've heard that will change as we get into the many spin-offs and stuff. But it's pretty basic, but it's good. It serves the job. I like the characters enough. But even like the music, which is one of the most highly praised things of Kingdom Hearts, I thought was just okay. You know, there's some really nice tracks. Like I really love the what's it called? Traversal Town. I can't remember its name. The main town in the game. Great theme. The iconic ones like Simple and Clean. But like the main battle theme and the area themes were just sort of mostly okay. I did like when they used the licensed tracks. I was jamming out to Under the Sea. Not gonna lie, I was singing along. No one else was home, so I could do it judgment free. I was having a great time with that. But yeah, it's a good game overall, and it's fun. It doesn't feel like it's aged remarkably well, or even that it was that it doesn't even feel like it would be that amazing for a PS2 game at the time. It just sort of serves the purpose of getting through this game with these charming characters and bizarre concept. So I'm still, like I said, I'm interested to play the rest and find out more. I had a decent enough time with it, but yeah, it's not it didn't actually. I've made a list and it didn't make my top 10 games I played this year even. So that's
wow.
Granted, I played like 22, so I did play a lot, and it's 11, so it's close.
Right.
But
okay.
But still, yeah, it's okay game, but it hasn't aged particularly well, I would say. But I'm sorry for any enemies I've made with that. But I still liked it. But save
That
me,
was
Kai.
not a simple and clean review of the game, I'll tell you that.
That game was definitely not simple, and it's really not clean. I can tell you this, Kai.
It's not.
Well, okay, no, not clean gameplay wise, as in like smooth. It's not. It's safe for work. Oh God. Change the subject, quick, Kai. What did you play?
Metroid Dread demo.
Yeah.
I've not played the full game, but I can talk about playing the demo. So that's what I've been doing on streams, of course. I enjoyed it way more than I thought I would. My history of just playing Super Metroid was going to make me think, well, I'm probably not going to be that good at it. The first sort of 10 minutes of the demo, I really struggled with, because I'm bad at the game. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. That first sort of Emmy that attacks you, the tutorial one, I died to like 3 or 4 times. I'm not going to lie, because I couldn't aim for its face. I thought I was, and I wasn't.
That was entertaining watching you, sort of. And we all do it. I did the exact same thing. Even on like the final Emmy, I would just be aiming and I'm pointing it like 4 degrees above its head, which is pointless. But
yeah, that's what I did. I aimed it slightly too low, and it was like, no, that doesn't count. I was like, come on, that basically counts. But yeah, outside of that, I really enjoyed it. I started to see a little bit of a semblance from the puzzles in the game. You get to see the absolute fear of the Emmys chasing you. Oh my god, it's terrifying.
Yeah.
I hated it, but then I started doing it, and I was like, actually, this is quite fun. Overall, I can see, as you go through the game and get better items and stuff, that the exploration can be really fun. So as soon as it gets like an eShop discount or something along those lines, I do think I'm going to pick it up just because I didn't think I would at first. I didn't think I would at all, but it's actually quite fun to just explore. They made a... It's rare to see very good 2D games nowadays that do a very good
Yeah.
job of what they're trying to do. So,
We don't-
yeah, they hit the mark.
Yeah, we don't really get many sort of 2D games outside of indie development studios, which is by no means a bad thing because I'm literally about to talk about a really fantastic 2D indie game. But it's nice to see like a big full budget Nintendo one in this era. And
Yeah, exactly.
like you say, they nailed it. So
They did, honestly, they did a real good job. So
Yeah, definitely.
I'm looking forward to seeing how that goes, how that develops.
yeah, definitely. It's like I just the other day I got bored, so I just brought up my Switch and played the final boss again. Just I felt like it. It's fun. So good
stuff.
game. But so to move on to my next game, which sticking with the Metroid, we've got a Metroidvania game here. I finally got around to beating Hollow Knight, which I first played like 2 years ago or something, and I got like a third of the way in the game, and I was enjoying it, but it wasn't. I guess it wasn't blowing me away. It was just sort of a fun time, and I got distracted by some other game or whatever. Who knows? But watching our friend Be More Duck stream it on Twitch, he's still streaming it, so go check him out Monday evenings. I'll put a link in the description below to his channel. That made me want to play it again, you know, seeing it as like, I missed this game, I never did finish it. So I booted up the game, started from scratch, and damn, it's so good. I don't know what I was missing last time, thinking it was just fine, but I fell in love with it this time, and it's so... I sort of realised why it's so beloved. That once you begin to acquire your different moves and upgrade yourself, the movement of that game is just so perfect. And the way that you are able to navigate the map, when you get a hold of different abilities like wall jumping and you learn the right timing to use your pogo stick maneuver, and you get that boss fight and you're sort of zipping lines around it whilst it's trying to hit you, it feels so good. And you'll die a lot because it is brutal and it is difficult, but always in a way that's fair, and it never really felt like it was taking the piss or anything or just making you angry for the sake of being angry. There was always a way that you could use the movement to avoid it with enough practice and enough learning the timing of moves and that. And I think really what I enjoyed most about it was just sort of the atmosphere and the ambience of it. I played it mostly in handheld. It's sort of a nice game to just sort of chill in the evenings, curled up on the sofa with my Switch in my hand, and sort of get immersed in these different environments. The music is always really beautiful, and although the areas are not massively visually different, you know, you're not getting a huge distinction, just the subtleties of the different kinds of places you visit, whether it's an underwater city or a terrifying nest full of spiders, which, oh my god, but there are stories about that and they're all true, but it is just so fun. And I think one thing I particularly loved about this kind of game was the exploration aspect, where you really did have to, even compared to something like Metroid, which was very much you get your map, you get an idea of roughly where you need to go. There really was this feeling of you have to discover things for yourself. You go to a new area, you are completely blind until you find the map guy, and you're just navigating by your own accord and by your own instincts, and trying to figure out where to go. And the way that the entire game revolves around this, there's even like optional power-ups you can get which are very handy, and that feeling of discovering a new area and putting two and two together and realising, wait, I've got this new ability, if I go back to this place I can go here, and suddenly you find a new boss fight or a new power-up or something, and it just all clicks together in one of the most satisfying gameplay loops that I've played in a while. It was kind of, after finishing Metroid Dread and how good that was, it was kind of like getting an essence of that feeling again. So yeah, all in all, Hollow Knight was just fantastic, and I would definitely recommend it to anyone who's at all interested in it. And you know, even you, Kai, if you really enjoy Metroid Dread, if you pick that up, you know, I'd recommend it. It's a
Yeah.
fun time.
I've never been opposed to playing Hollow Knight, and I think from what I've seen, it looks like one of those games where when you really get to grips with the gameplay, like, you know, especially with boss fights and just zipping through the areas, that's where the real sort of enjoyment value comes from, is just, you know, being able to have that skill and navigating the areas and doing all this, like, really cool looking stuff. So I imagine like that's where a lot of it comes from. So yeah, it seems very interesting to check out. Yeah.
Definitely, yeah. It's a really good time. It's like I can finally see why this game is so praised, and there's a few others I need to get to in that regards. A few other indie titles like Undertale, for example. I love Deltarune, and I haven't played Undertale yet. God damn it, backlogs. But it's yeah. I'm glad I at least managed to finish Hollow Knight finally, and that's one ticked off.
That's good.
Have you got anything else you want to talk about this month, Guy?
Yeah, I've got another demo I suppose I can indulge in.
Sure
and
thing.
that is the Voice of Cards demo.
Yeah.
So it's a very short demo. It's only, well, it's actually about the same amount of time as the Metroid Dread one for me. But it's not what I thought it was going to be, to be honest. I was expecting, you know, some card-based gameplay and card-based stuff. It's a card game. Everything is made of cards in the game. It's called Voice of Cards. Welcome to the game. But the gameplay itself is not cards, strangely enough. Like it's literally like your standard basic RPG, just with the aesthetic of cards.
Yeah.
Like that's exactly. I mean, have you played the demo yourself?
I have, yeah. I don't remember if I talked about it or not on the channel. I can't.
You may have
I think
done,
I might have
can't
skipped.
remember.
I might have skipped it over just based on the timings of things because it was just a small demo. But yeah, I mean, I think the same as you. I was quite surprised by that, and pleasantly so because I hate card games. So, and on that note, by the way, the next Kingdom Hearts game is a card game I have to play. So god damn it.
Let's go.
But yeah, Voice of Cards. Yeah, it's just the aesthetic, and it's a really solid RPG. I thought from the demo. How do you find it?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I mean, I love card games, so I was a little disappointed.
Okay.
And I also think in terms of the gameplay, like, that's probably where my main criticism comes from, is that it felt way too easy. And I've been told that a lot of the game is fairly easy until the final area.
Yeah.
And it's just incredibly basic. And that's not a bad thing. You know, I think having basic RPGs, especially for a short one like this, is quite a good thing, but it is so straightforward, and I felt like I was, you know, I was winning every battle, turn one, doing the exact same thing in every single fight, and I was thinking like this, I don't know, I think the main game must have a bit more going on, because so far it wasn't really showing much on the gameplay front for me. Like, I love the concept, but it had to have a little more there for me.
It was quite simple, yeah. But I did like the aesthetic of it and the atmosphere of it. I think that pulled it enough that I still enjoyed the gameplay, even though it was quite basic. Although I do see what you mean, and we know a few people who have played the full game, and I think they enjoyed it.
Yeah. They said it's good, like fairly enjoyable, pretty chill. So
I kind of like how chill it is. Yeah, especially with the music, which you know from a Yoko Taro game, it's gonna have good music, but damn, it's nice.
It's a big praise. Like, the music was spectacular.
Yeah.
And also, like, I found the character designs to be really good. Just like the illustrations they did for each character and that sort of thing. I thought, yeah, that was pretty good. Honestly, I've got to give them credit there.
Yeah. Yeah, well, good. Yeah, it was a good demo. I don't think I'm going to get, as I said before, make time for the full game in the many things I have to play, but you know what? I'd be happy to watch someone play it, so maybe someone will do a Let's Play or stream it one day, you never know.
Maybe. I've not picked it up yet, but I've got a couple days left on that sale if I do change my mind.
Right, yeah, that's true. Did you pick up anything on that sale actually yet, or is it still just in the back of your mind?
I've not picked up anything. Long story.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fine.
There's always plenty of sales anyway, so they'll probably, if it's on sale once, it'll probably be on sale again usually.
Exactly. It's all chill, it's all whatever. But yeah, that was it. It's just, it's a good demo. It's fairly chill. It's not too long, so any criticisms definitely don't stay that long. There is a side sort of card game which is very chaotic, which I do appreciate. So
that was kind of fun.
Yeah, it's all fairly cool, fairly chill.
But that does bring us to the end of the podcast, and so. Thank you all so much for watching throughout this entire year, and please continue watching into the next year because we're going to have some interesting things planned. We're thinking of doing some Mario Party videos, which will definitely be something. Let's say that much.
Yeah.
So that
damn right
it'll be interesting, none the least. And yeah, plenty more as well coming. So stay tuned. Of course, we have our regular podcasts on the first Sunday of each month, and you can find them all here on YouTube at BunchaJokahs or on any other podcasting site. Also under BunchaJokahs, Spotify, Google Podcasts, wherever, we are most likely there. And I've just got to give you a big thanks to you, Kai, for joining me once again.
Yeah, it's been swazzy.
And where can people find you at, in case they haven't learnt by now?
Oh, they should know by now. It's my Twitch channel. I'm just doing like random games and stuff at this point still. I've not got much of a plan going, admittedly, but it's fun. Trust me, please.
In it. Dragon Quest 11, yeah!
Let's go!
Yeah, we'll have a link to his channel in the description below, so check it out if you haven't already. And of course, a huge thanks to our friend Sam, who does all the graphic design work for the channel, such as the logo and the thumbnails. And in fact, what I should mention is, we will be having him here for a 2021 in review video later this month, looking back at some of our favourite moments in games of 2021, really, because outside of the pandemic, video games weren't so bad, so yeah.
Yeah, true.
So stay tuned for that, and we will see you guys in the next video. Take care, and goodbye.
Bye.